Let's get to RB8 in the class. And I think I saw you tweeting about this guy either last night or this morning, RJ Harvey out of UCF.
Yeah, I love RJ Harvey. He's a hilarious guy to follow up Neo because they're just complete opposites. RJ Harvey's strength is his weakness. If he shows up to the interview and they ask what his weakness is, he can say that I'm always trying to, create more than there is there. And it's true. He's always trying to maximize every situation and make a big run happen. And that's borne out in the data, like when met at or behind the line of scrimmage, he had the third highest stuffed rate. And so stuff is qualified as a run that gains 0 or negative yardage. So third highest stuffed rate in the class on runs where initial contact was met at the line of scrimmage, but he had one of the highest yards after contact per rush rates on those runs. And so he does create big plays on those runs quite often. But he's also taking negative plays. And so the question is, can he be somebody like Bucky Irving, where like that's the player that people like to compare him to? Can he do that at a efficient enough clip that he can continue to get on the field, or is he just going to annoy his coach? Because like if he can't pass protect and he's taking negative plays and he's not like producing enough huge explosive plays, then he might be somebody who just goes away. But yeah, I absolutely loved his film. To me, he reminds me of a hybrid of like Bucky Irving and Tyjae Spears, who are two guys who I'm enamored with because they can create yards on their own. Very, very elusive, contact balance, all of it. Really, really like RJ Harvey.
And as you said, kind of the opposite of Neal, has had some problems in pass protection, has had some problems with ball security. Dynasty Dave in the chat says it sounds like Kenneth Walker. When you're I know what he's talking about with that. It's an all or nothing type thing. You'll get the big plays, but you'll also get a lot of runs for negative yardage. I assume though it's a much lesser version of Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Kenneth Walker is pretty special. If you just watch him, like there's not very many guys where it's like, oh, he reminds me of Kenneth Walker, because he's insane, the stuff he can do. But I mean, Harvey was really, really productive, and his avoided tackle rates, his yards after contact are really, really good. If you look at the highest PPR point per game averages as a starting running back for a career, it's Ashton Genty, 27.7, Cam Scadaboo, 24.5, and then Harvey is next, 23.2, above Amarian Hampton, above Dylan Sampson, and some of these other really good running backs. So I think if he were to, like say the Jaguars draft Harvey and he is now, the Bucky Irving paired up with Liam Cohen and he gets to emulate that role, I absolutely think he could like work his way into a very fantasy relevant role there.
So that's interesting because I think that's somebody, and I hope Jacksonville doesn't draft a running back because I'm having a hard enough time figuring out how they're going to employ Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby. But how would you, I think like Etienne was a first round pick. How would you compare him to Bigsby though?
Bigsby, they effectively do kind of the same thing, but they do it in a different way. I prefer Harvey, the way that he wins. But Bigsby has the ability to like create extreme rushing efficiency, as we saw last year. The other difference is that Harvey can really contribute on passing downs, whereas like they seem to not want Bigsby on the field on passing downs under any circumstances.
So we talked about the potential problems as a pass blocker, but you feel Harvey, just as a receiver, could have a lot of success.
For sure. Yeah, he's really natural as a receiver, produced well as a receiver when given opportunities. Yeah.
And we see here, Thomas, if you're watching on YouTube, highlighting some of Gibbs' tweets about RJ Harvey. He does seem to have a lot of advanced stats that really put him into some elite company. Is Harvey the type of running back that the true media view is a little bit more complimentary to him than the film is?
Well, I think there's a ton of people who watch his film and are in love with him for sure. But like, yeah, absolutely. If you look at any of these advanced stats, the one we've got on the screen here is highest career rushing EPA per snap was RJ Harvey. But I that is sort of a team level stat. And I did think that his offensive environment was conducive to success. A lot of these running backs don't have the benefit of playing with a coordinator who's like putting them in position to maximize their skill set. He did, so like if he were to go to Liam Cohen, like it would be, kind of like what we saw in college, and we've already seen him win in this role. We'll talk about Dylan Sampson. There are teams that like really take advantage of the rules and the wider hashes at the collegiate level and spread things out. And RJ Harvey was absolutely one of those backs for sure. But I mean, I do think it shows up on film that he's very, very elusive. He's very hard to tackle.
You talked about how Neal landing in Denver without much competition might elevate him into borderline round one consideration. Would you say the same for Harvey?
Yeah, I think so. I would if he was. I like the fit for Neal in Denver better because I trust him as a pass protector. If Harvey were to land in Denver, I would wonder if that might be more of a bit role, where Peyton sees him more as like an 8 to 12 touch guy. Whereas like, I think we could legitimately see him push up to like 15-ish touches like Bucky did last year if he was with Cohen or someone like that.
That is RJ Harvey out of UCF.